Why are men not choosing better women to sleep with?
They'll just go and have multiple different children right after that with another guy. And then when you see him even post on social media, it's a congratulations, you doing well.
Glad you got out of that situation, sis.
It only
got her
takes
pregnant, not once, not
0.1%
twice.
of the population to populate 80% of the women. Most men are not even having sex.
Exactly.
The accountability for women is that they are often left with these children to raise alone, right?
So there's probably one woman that's made me wear a condom in the last 10 years.
Does she make you, or do you want to?
Ty, please don't do that. Does she have to make you, or do you want it? You want it raw too. Most of the women do not like condom sex, and that's a fact.
Y'all gonna talk shit about us anyway.
Right.
We going on tour this summer. We fucking everything. I'm going on a revenge tour. So everybody that's blackity black.
Oh my god!
If they girl choosing, it's the name of the tour is called the I Choose You Too tour. So
That's his
no,
fault.
it was. Listen, bro. This
It was
is
his
what
fault.
is Anthony Edwards? 23.
That man had got 4 kids by 4 different women in 1 year.
Exactly.
Give me a second.
He's not a good example for this.
How old is he? Because we only holding him accountable.
I
Right?
think he's 24.
No, I'm not
like 28, 24, something like that.
How old is the? How? Somebody look up how old Aisha Howard is.
And the baby mama, that chick is older and got a baby by a little baby or another baby, another famous guy.
How old is she? How old is Aisha Howard?
Let me see.
She's up there.
And
35. Shorty's 35.
Damn.
See what I'm saying? And this is a disingenuous argument also, because you're using a multi-millionaire, 100-millionaire as
Actually, they're actually wrong. Aisha Howard, it says she is 38 years old.
an example. And I don't think that that's where the problem is, where people are really, really having a conversation. It's the everyday guy that is working 40, 50, 60, $70,000 a year.
Yes.
The ones that are under duress, the ones that are unheard, those are the ones that we need to be advocating for when it comes to family court laws. Anthony Edwards he don't give a fuck. He gonna pay. He want to pay the
Rich.
He
$216.
wants to pay it.
He not the
Is she
person
35
we
or
need to be having a
38?
conversation about. We need to be having a conversation about these guys every single day.
Oh, she
The
38.
regular everyday guy that wants to be in his child life, that has to spend a fortune on lawyers in order to fight to have some kind of visitation rights with their child. And it's also that child is being used as a weapon against them while using family court and child support laws to ultimately take them down and leave them under duress. It's not about the Anthony Edwards. It's about the John Q's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still
See, Ben Carson not understanding that Anthony Edwards is a multimillionaire, high-level successful individual. He doesn't care about paying that $1-2 million. That's chump change to him. We talking about the regular guys who working, like he said, 40, 50 hours a week, overtime constantly just to pay child support and to still try and sustain a life. And they trying not to work overtime because the more money that's shown on paper, the more they might have to possibly pay. We talking about those guys who getting wrecked from even making extra money because they will get held to such a high standard to have to pay more money to a bitter baby mama.
still doesn't
John
change the
Q.
argument. It's
Even
still,
for John Q, I agree. It is about like why are men not choosing better women to sleep with? It's just kind of like
Doesn't matter.
we just gonna leave
yeah,
our
because it's still,
whoever
it's
gonna
still,
keep who want it.
It doesn't
it's
matter.
still
Men are
doesn't
not
change.
affected by this. If that would have
But it still
Anthony
doesn't
Edwards
change.
was
It still
38.
doesn't
What if
change.
Anthony Edwards was 38?
It doesn't change the
Yeah.
argument.
Most men
No.
do not have children out of wedlock.
Right.
That is not
But
the
it doesn't-
majority.
It
A
doesn't
lot
change
of
the argument.
most men do not file for divorce. That is not the majority. Again,
But that-
when we having these conversations, we have to speak to the majority, not the minority.
Mhm.
You can solve for and have every single guy, 99.9% of the population of men, not do the things that they're not supposed to do, and a 0.1% of men can populate 80% of the women.
Yep.
If you solving for a problem, you solve for the majority, not the minority. So if the majority of women today, because the majority of men, we know for a fact, demographics says that, or statistics say that the majority of men do not have children out of wedlock. But you be hard pressed to find a single woman above the age of 30 that does not have children out of wedlock. It is they're a unicorn when it's, I'm not saying that it's not you, Jazz. I know you up here. but they're a unicorn
And that might be a red flag at the same damn time.
to mostly find a woman that you would want to marry above the age of 30 that does not have children out of wedlock. It's crazy. So if I'm gonna solve for the problem, I want to solve for the majority of what I see is actually where the issues lie. I'm gonna solve for the women that ultimately lay down with a minority of the men and get pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah, but it still doesn't change the argument. I don't care if you make $100 million a year, if you make $100,000 a year, or if you make $45,000 a year. If you choose the wrong woman, no matter what tier bracket you're in, if you choose the wrong woman, you'll still end up in the same position, which still means it's ultimately. Yes, you do. If you choose the wrong woman,
Elon must have children for fun.
it
matters.
So you think that's right? Do you think that's right?
Socioeconomic status matters.
Just because he's doing, do you think that's right?
Yeah,
It does not matter. And the reason why Ben Carson cannot understand that it doesn't matter, your socioeconomic status matters. If you're a super rich guy, you can have kids a lot more different than just a regular guy can. The reason why Anton used Elon Musk, he's a billionaire. It don't he's not going to get wrecked in family courts being a billionaire. I'm going to be honest. He's not going to get wrecked just having multiple kids. Now, if he gets in multiple marriages, having to get divorced, he might lose money. But once you're already a successful guy winning, you're going to keep winning. It's going to be hard to shut that guy down if he's just a winner. The regular guy, though, that's going to be a whole nother story. The regular guy will get wrecked because he cannot recover as fast as someone who is a billionaire. Ben Carson not understanding that.
Still, that's
it doesn't matter if it's right or not. We're
yes,
talking
it does.
in the United States of America. Listen, what's right according to the United States of America today is for a woman to man to walk in a woman's bathroom.
Exactly.
I don't agree with that.
Let me tell you what's wrong with your argument, Carson. And I like you. And I like you because you're a spiritual guy. You make logical sense, and I think that you're 100% right on the majority of the things that you say. Your problem is thinking that everybody else fits in the same social construct because America is literally a melting pot. Mm-hmm. For example, you put what I agree with you on, right? Your views on spirituality as a part of your argument. However, marriage is just not singular to Christians. Marriage isn't singular to people that look at it from your social construct.
Correct.
So if we're solving for a problem in society, again, we solve for the majority, not the minority.
Correct. That's why I said that the argument doesn't change, because do you believe this, whether you believe or not? Let's say I have someone who doesn't believe and someone that does believe. If they both choose the wrong woman, doesn't matter how much money they make, do you think they can get God?
It depends on it's a lot of factors.
True.
Again, you can't get Elon or Future because they don't give a fuck and they rich enough not to.
That's a problem.
But you just said we can't use the minority.
We use them as an example for how we operate in society. And what I'm saying is
because you said we got to use the majority.
Right.
They're minorities. Do you see what I'm saying? You said we can't use the minority, so we can't use Elon Musk. Even if we using Elon Musk, I don't believe what he's doing is right. I don't care how much money he got. He's not a man to me. I don't care if he's a multi-billionaire or trillionaire.
What makes him not a man to you?
Exactly.
Because if you're having multiple women get pregnant, you're not in your family's life as one household. You're not a true man.
That's not true. Young Ben Carson does not understand how society developed over the years, that the men is not always going to be there. Man, I don't want to be around my kids all the time. I need to be out there getting it. And when I come home, my kids is going to understand the work that I put in from my wife, showing, explaining, and demonstrating that to them. I don't need to be in their face 24 hours a day.
Interesting.
Makes no sense.
You're not.
Well, now you're going into another territory. So.
It doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you have a whole bunch of money or a little bit of money, if you're not a part of your children's household, you're not a man to me.
So let's use that example, Carson. Historically, men were not in the household because they had to leave and then find resources in order to be able to take care of.
No.
Hold on.
I know what you're about to do. I'm gonna answer it though.
Historically, men were not in the household. They would be gone for months at a time, sometimes even years at a time. Mm-hmm. As recently as, I would say, the boomer generation, and even a little bit before, those men would leave the South and go and seek work up north. A lot of times they worked in the factories and they would work there for years, get a foundation, establish it, and then they would send for the woman and the kids to come up back north. So are you saying that those guys aren't real men? Because I think you also are speaking from a privileged perspective, and that you're born in a generation at a time where men didn't have to be, where men don't have to be as physical. They don't have to be outside of the house. Sometimes they can work from home. They can work 40 hours and come back home.
Yep.
The union created an environment where men are now able to be more into their children's lives. Historically, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, that has not been the case. So
Nope.
I would make the argument that men were men, more of men back then when they actually had to go and bring in resources versus the guys today that are coddled and spend all of their time around their kids, and then their kids are coming out more feminine than ever before.
Exactly.
No. I think you just try.
Hey, spot on. Ben Carson, you ain't got nothing to say to that because that's a fact. That doesn't make you a man because you need to be at home all the time, around your woman all the time. Separation needs to exist between families for it to work, I think.
To do a jump over, but I know what you're saying.
Okay.
So the reason I said I think you're trying to do a jump over the point is because that's not what I'm talking about. What you just said is still the man is a part of the household. He still has a nuclear family. He just has to go to, let's say if he lives in Texas, he just has to go from Texas to Detroit, right? To gather their resources and bring his family there. I'm not talking about those men. He's still a part of that nuclear family. What I'm talking about is you live in Detroit and you live in California. I stay here, you stay there. We're not a family at all. That's what I'm talking about. That's not a nuclear family. That's not together. If I'm going somewhere, traveling somewhere else, and I put them and I say, hey, I'm gonna stay here for about 3 years, and I'm gonna build up some wealth, and I'm gonna move y'all here. I'm still nuclear, man. I'm still nuclear.
All right, Carson, I got.
Hey, if you a boss, you can do that with multiple families. I'm not advocating for it, but if you are a boss, you can do that with multiple families. So what he's saying doesn't 100% apply to every situation.
Question, because
Your argument was a man. Your argument wasn't nuclear. Your argument was.
I said together.
Your
Such a
argument
gray
was
area.
a man that is basically participatory in his children's life.
No, I said not a part of. I said not a part of his children's life.
All right, so Carson, what if the mother is keeping the child away from the man, from the guy, or from the father? Does that mean he's not a man no more?
No, that means that he should hold himself accountable
That's a
that
good
he
one.
may have chose the wrong woman.
So,
But
does that mean he's not a man though?
You still slept with, at one point,
He's
that
not
man
answering.
chose to sleep with her. So if he ended up in that situation, he should look back and reflect at himself as a man, and don't look at her and say, "Why you do that to me?" He should look at her. He look at himself and say, "Maybe
But
I
I
chose
don't
the
think that
wrong
men
woman."
are.
So does that
doing
make him less of a man?
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. They're not.
But
looking
Carson,
at themselves.
The,
They're not
the-
looking at themselves.
the difficulty of it is not that men are not being held accountable, because we are.
No, they're being held
We
accountable
don't
by
pay child.
others.
We've overcorrected for women so much that guys are being held accountable so much
By
that
others,
some
not
of
themselves.
them we know, and they've taken paternity tests, and they're not even the child's father, but they're still required to pay child support.
I
Yeah,
think he's
but
talking about
if I
self
say,
accountability.
yeah, exactly.
Like
If I
not
tell
being
you,
held accountable by
example,
other people. It's like
It
You're still
doesn't
talking about
matter.
you still talking
Anton,
about the
if I told
minority
you,
though.
It doesn't matter
no,
whether
I'm not.
they're self-accountable
Yeah.
or not.
It
They're
does matter.
being
It
held
does matter.
account. No,
No,
it doesn't.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Because in this,
Bro, the world will make you accountable. It doesn't. The world will punish you. I don't think people realize that. It don't matter if you hold yourself accountable or not. Once the world start punishing you, then you gonna realize like, damn, I'm making bad. I'm taking too many L's. So it really, what he's saying doesn't fully apply.
now, in the context of this conversation, it doesn't, because they are being held accountable regardless. Either you pay child support or you go to jail.
And I'm
Exactly.
gonna tell you why.
Child support is one of the things that you cannot get rid of in bankruptcy court, for example.
No.
Yeah, because you have
You are
garnishment.
going to be held accountable no matter what. The problem, I believe, is disproportionately that women are not the ones being held accountable, nor is there anybody that can hold them accountable, because
True.
and it shows, because they'll just go and have multiple different children right after that with another guy, and then when you see him even post on social media, it's a congratulations, you doing well. Do you know what the biggest sector
Glad you got out of that situation, sis.
that's blowing up in TikTok right now is?
I don't really be on TikTok, so I don't know.
me either.
I'll familiarize you. It's women that have multiple children that are poor.
Mm-hmm.
So they can have 6, 7, check the algorithm, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. Oh my God, I got 6, 7, 8, 9 kids and I'm homeless. They blowing up. They're getting monetized immediately and they're absolutely killing the algorithm because it shows you that we're not holding women accountable. We're actually celebrating them.
But I can make the other argument. I can make the argument the other way. If I'm a man, right, and I see that this woman has 6 kids, why would I go give her a 7?
Oh,
But you're
Carson, you're
missing
missing the
it.
point.
You're missing it.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
not
she
missing the
can
point.
go and
I'm
get,
saying what
listen,
you're
it's
saying.
not that the majority of the guys are saying that.
No, they're
They're
not because
saying,
they're
but
yo,
getting
they're
we're
pregnant.
not
impregnating
doing
these
that.
women
Nah,
with
They're
their
getting
a
her
own
small
pregnant.
blood.
It
percentage.
You
only
got her
takes
pregnant not once, not
0.1%
twice.
of the population to populate 80% of the women. You can have
That's
one guy
irrelevant.
go and fuck 20 women back to back to back in 10 days and get them all pregnant.
Yep.
Okay, so
So,
let me.
so how do you solve for a problem if you can get 20 women that can get pregnant by one man and then get celebrated while that man get held accountable? Are you solving for our cultural norms? Is my
But the
first point.
But do
can I
you
say
see?
something?
Do you see what I'm saying though, Anton? Would you, as a man, would you get a woman pregnant who got 4 kids already?
No, but
No.
that goes without
Exactly.
saying because
Exactly.
most men already have that mentality and they
Yeah.
saying we not fucking with these women and we not gonna get them pregnant.
Exactly.
Obviously, that's not true. You just used an example and said that women are blowing up having
I
multiple
get
children.
that.
So that doesn't.
With
By
Because
multiple
it's
a
different
You're trying
men.
to
all
you're trying to
by
go with a
a
minority
regular.
men.
minority
It's not gonna go
of
over
the
my head. I'm
men,
not a regular thinker.
by the
It's not gonna go over my
minority
head. I
of the
understand what you're
men,
trying to
there
do.
is
He overthinking it. That's why he not a regular thinker.
a small segment and most men are not even having sex.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
That is a fact. It is a statistic.
Jazz, I gotta correct you on that. I know you don't feel like that, but a lot of guys is not getting buns. It's only the guys that y'all find attractive that are. It's a lot of guys that y'all don't even deem attractive.
Fact. The minority of men are not having sex. They are not having children out of
Facts.
wedlock. If a minority of men, the majority of men are not having sex. They're not having children out of wedlock. If there's a minority of men that are getting the majority of women pregnant, who do you solve for the problem with and how do you hold them accountable? We keep saying man, 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 and that's why you start getting these more egregious child support orders. That's why you keep saying paternity since retroactive. All of that shit is for the man. That's not for women. That's
Yeah.
not holding women accountable. When they say retroactive child support, that is holding more men accountable. Every single law that is created in family court is to address men.
Yes.
There is no accountability for women. If every time I say let's hold women accountable and you say but, that then removes accountability from women.
No, I mean
There
women
is
It
no
definitely
doesn't.
but.
receive
There is no
That
but
does.
when we hold men accountable.
the
It just is what it
accountability.
is.
The accountability for women is that they are often left with these children to raise alone, right?
Oh,
So
Oh
God.
man.
so they do need to be held accountable for who
Oh
they
man.
breed with or who they lay down with. But I think
The women are choosing though.
not be we can't be silly and say that it's just all on the woman when these men have autonomy over their seed, over their bodies, and they can make the right decisions to avoid child support court altogether. All you have to do is be mindful. All you have to do is be a responsible adult. Both parties.
I think.
Both
I don't think Jazz understand that dudes want to bust nuts, and dudes will get blinded by some good box. But it's up to the woman ultimately on the situation that she want to be in when it comes down to choosing that father correctly. But like he said earlier, in the court system, it all favors the woman. So the guy's gonna get wrecked regardless whether he pick a good one or a bad one.
Yeah.
parties. We're
Well,
not
he
saying
already
that
said
nobody
men
is
get
more
held
on each
accountable
side,
already.
but but I'm saying if you don't want a child and you want to have sex, you're able to do so. If you end up with a child out of wedlock, both of y'all took part in that. Both of you are responsible. But a lot of times, like you said, there's a certain type of men that's dealing with these women. These men are okay with just dropping a seed everywhere and
Man,
going
that's a
from woman
small
to woman to
percentage.
woman.
But I
And if
also
he's
think that
okay with
women want
that,
Small
then
equality
percentage.
until this point.
Small
pardon
Women
me?
want
percentage.
equality until this matter.
Say it
Until we
again.
get
I'm
to
sorry, I
this
didn't hear you.
point. I say women want equality. We're advocating for equality until it comes to this subject.
True.
And that's ridiculous because they both are playing an equal part in making
Right.
a child. And
Yeah, because
and a
you can use the
child
same.
and sex doesn't always have to equate to having a child.
It
So
doesn't. Exactly.
if you're a responsible adult and you want to have casual sex, let's take the preventative measures. If a child comes into the play, there are decisions to be made. If you as a man say, yeah, I dropped my load on you, but if you had a baby, I'm out. That's you and your karma. You take that up with God. But you participated in the possibility of creating a child that you didn't even want in the first place. So
For
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
like, while the woman needs to stop having kids with multiple men because it's not an attractive thing, it shouldn't be blowing up on TikTok. That's some poverty, subset of women doing that type of stuff. But men also gotta say, hey, I need to protect myself. I don't want to be in these situations. I don't want to end up in child support. Child support. I don't want to have to walk away from a child from a woman that I didn't want to have a child with
But that's the thing,
before.
Jazz. Most men are
yeah,
doing that. Though. Most men are doing that. That's
Okay,
what
if
we're
most men
saying.
are doing that, then why is this a big deal about child support?
Because
no,
it's a
Anton,
small majority of
I think
men that everybody's talking about. That's what we're talking
Why
about.
though? If it's a
What
small
do you mean
majority,
why?
then
Yeah,
if
because y'all are making it a big deal. Prime example. Let's use the Anthony Edwards situation, right? See
who's
how
that?
he was held accountable, right?
Who's that?
30 the shorty Aisha, she's 38 years old. She already knew he had multiple kids already, but she still
Yeah,
decided to lay down with him and have a kid with him. But
yeah.
nobody's holding her accountable. They're holding Anthony Edwards accountable. But he's
Well,
already being held accountable already. That's the
okay,
For
point.
and
sure.
no, no,
He's a
no.
okay,
So
small
I
minority.
think
He's a
that
small minority.
And him trying to pay his way out of that situation is him fully getting out of it in America's way, the court system way. He can do it. He can pay up front, go ahead, end it, done. There's nothing wrong with that, no fault. But most men can't get out of situations like that.
Minority of men that's doing it though.
but wait,
When
is
we
I've
already
actually
Anthony
seen
Edwards?
I've seen a lot of women holding her accountable though,
Yeah, I was just
talking
yeah,
gonna
about how she
say,
was a
I think
predator. Like a
yeah,
lot
she
of
was a
women
I
have
just
been
use
predator.
that as
She
an
talking
preyed
example
on
about
though. I use
him.
that as an example.
But
I
isn't
think
Anthony
that
Edwards
there's
also?
no
Isn't he a guy of a certain caliber? Isn't he a
I mean, he
guy of
rich.
a certain high standard and high
But
value?
you still
He
got
but
Why
boobies
rich.
and
is
see
Ray
he?
that
Rays who ain't even at that caliber who's
That
still
man is a
impregnating all of
four-time
these
baby
women.
daddy
But
He
what
just
I'm saying
rich.
is, he's a 4-time baby father.
in one
Where's the
year.
And you
accountability
got
there?
Pookies and Ray Rays that got 6 and 7
So
kids,
what?
and
Yes.
ladies are still having
I
baby, and
want
ladies are still
I believe you can have as many kids as you want if you're able to take care of them. It doesn't matter if you're trying to be fruitful in your lifestyle. If you can provide for all of them, you can. He's a multimillionaire. We're not talking about his moral character. If he can take care of his kids, he can take care of his kids. It is what it is.
having
I
babies.
have
It's
I
the
have six
same
kids.
guy.
I'm not gonna let you hate on the Pookies and
So
Ray
all
Rays.
I'm saying is that both parties are acting reckless.
That's a
That's
fact.
all I'm saying. Like, this man
right.
is a 4-time baby father. You're saying that all those women forced him to be that? He
I
didn't
I
think
have.
we
think
have to stop making the
can I
conversation. We have to start making it a parallel to one another instead of a interchange. Like it's like,
a minority? Yeah,
yeah, it's like, who's responsible? You or you or you? It's two
Both.
separate lanes, and like Jess is saying, I'm sorry, Jazz. Like Jazz is saying, it's two parallel lanes. So I'm gonna take accountability for the part I played, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna take accountability for the part I played. But it seems that there's an imbalance, as we can see, and
yeah. I
the
wanted to
imbalance is what needs to be
Are
corrected
men not
because
are
it's
I
two
men
wanted
not
to
being held
different
accountable?
clarify
Is
parts.
the question though.
to
Are men
clarify
not
what I
being
was
held
Let's just
accountable, or are
advocate
they
for
being
safe
held
Well,
accountable?
sex.
well,
Let's
Mike,
Yeah.
advocate
No,
for
wrap it
safe
up. Wrap it up.
sex.
Let's go back to abstinence to the hundred
Yeah,
percent.
let's wait till
No,
marriage.
no,
You know what I mean? Like,
just wear condoms and you'll
just
be
wear
fine.
condoms.
yeah.
But
That'll kind of
I
Be
help,
can
but
safe.
honestly
Be
say
still
like
won't.
smart. Be
women
responsible.
don't
What's
make
wrong with
men wear
that?
condoms. There's probably one woman that's made me wear a condom in the like last 10 years.
Yeah, a lot of
Who
women want
did
it
what?
raw.
That's it.
A lot of women want it
Wait,
Right,
raw.
but
what?
we're
Does she
talking
gotta
about
make you, or
mutual.
do you want to? Do
We're
you
talking
want to,
about
or do
But
you
mutual.
need
see,
to make?
Ty, please don't do that. Does she have to make you or do you want it? You want it raw too. Please don't. Most of the women do not like condom sex, and that's a fact. And most guys, they probably want raw sex, but it needs to be up to the woman to say, hey, you're not getting in this unless you got a rubber on. So don't say the guy. The guy wants it raw. Stop it, man. I can't stand when people do that. It's
see,
so
see,
Full
horrible.
I'm glad
disclosure, I have a
that's what
clean penis. I go to the doctor, but there's been one woman in 10 years, and she said, "No, nigga,
Oh, you
just do
messing
that
with the wrong
motherfucker
kind of
over to
ladies.
me."
but
And
see
was
that's
like, "Yeah,
what
we
that,
won't."
And
that's
you should
what
walk away every time. You
that's
should
what I
walk
wanted
away every
Man,
to
time.
man.
clarify. That's
It's
That's
always gonna roll into raw sex. Condom sex will always roll into raw sex. You never just gonna stay doing condom sex. Once you start fucking, that door is gonna open sooner or later. It always does. Like, stop playing. Well, you gotta have a condom. No, y'all just need to be two understanding adults and get tested. And then if y'all do switch over to raw, you need to understand that a baby can come out of this, and y'all both need to be prepared.
that's
what
another thing. If these
that's
women are saying no, we don't need to use a condom, and you got shit to lose, walk away from that girl. She's obviously looking to come up on you. She's obviously looking to attach herself to you to some degree. Walk away from that whore. You know what I'm saying?
Or get
Like
fixed.
you're better than that. Like protect your seed.
No, you know what? I don't know. For me personally, the conclusion that I came to is that y'all gonna talk shit about us anyway.
Facts.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Don't
We
matter.
going on tour this summer. We fucking everything.
Everything, nigga, knocking them down and busting on y'all thigh.
Oh,
You gonna
my
be fucking everything, Anton?
What?
That's what you gonna
So,
do.
I want
I hope Anton is not.
I'm going on a revenge tour. So
Yo.
Revenge
Who
on
you
who?
getting revenge on?
clarify.
All you niggas in the chat
See,
and y'all
this
fucking wives
is
and
my-
girlfriends.
everybody that's blackity black.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Now
If,
he
They don't want
he on
you.
his own.
if they girl choosing, it's the name of the tour is called the I Choose You 2 tour. So if they
It
choose,
sounds super corny.
Yo.
that's cool. I'm gonna show you how
Your
corny
car
it
on
is.
point,
But
yo.
why? But why?
So I'm gonna show you how corny it is. Yo, Anton own one right
How are
now.
you, as a married man, about to go on a f***ing spree
I
He
just
has
said.
the Daniel
I
light.
just said
I
that I'm
got it
going on a
covered,
revenge
nigga.
tour.
to have sex
But-
with other women's or other men's wives and
But
girlfriends?
this is
Why
what I
do you
said.
have your own
It's
wife?
called the I Choose You tour, and so we're gonna go ahead.
Choose you.
We're gonna just see what happens. We just
So you're
gonna-
advocating for people to
Jazz
cheat in a
don't-
marriage? You?
Jazz-
Yeah.
I didn't
I don't know
advocate
why
for
you
it. I said me and Quentin and Slimmy.
These
And
are single men.
Might as well add 2K in there too. Then
I
No.
gotta get permission for
We love
2K.
Sarah.
Me, Quentin, and Slimmy, we going on tour this summer, and we just gonna see what and Mont.
Yo.
To have
But
sex
this-
with wives and girlfriends?
Mont.
Monica 4-time baby daddy. That
Mont, yeah.
Nigga, leave my nigga Mont alone. I'm coming up, nigga. I'm gonna have 2
Oh
million.
my god! So is this like all baby?
She tried to say that he trying to advocate for it. Ma'am, that man can do whatever he wants. And he's not advocating for it. He said, and she didn't listen to the context. It's a I Choose You tour. If she's choosing, it's on her. I understand what Anton doing right now. Whether he joking or not, he probably joking, but still, the fact that he said I Choose You tour, it's on her. It ain't on him, man. Jazz, you can't do that.
Baby daddies and one married man group tour. Like,
Well, I'm
So
gonna see who else can be a part of the crew.
I'm down.
But this is what
Anton
I
hit
wanted
me
to
up.
clarify, because Anton, I don't disagree with you that men are held accountable outside of themselves, right? But what I'm speaking to is something different than just monetary things. What I'm speaking to is character, right? And I think a lot of men lack character nowadays. That's the issue. If you don't have any character as a man, you know what I'm saying? Like for me personally, I would never say certain things. Well, I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman. But for me as a man, I wouldn't say certain things as a man because I have certain character about myself. I wouldn't say certain things to people online or say certain things to people in person or say certain things to people I'm speaking to or trying to do business with because I have a certain character about myself. And I think that that's what we lack as men nowadays is we don't have character. And if you don't have character and look at yourself in the mirror and don't hold yourself accountable, it doesn't matter how many times I try to motivate you. If I say, you can do it, but you don't believe you can do it, right? It won't ever matter. So the man needs to look at himself also. Even though he's being held accountable by the courts, he needs to look at himself and say, it was my fault.
Are y'all married?
I'm gonna say this real quick with Ben Carson. Oh, hold up. That's the husband and wife. Yo, that's the husband and the wife. Okay, what Ben Carson don't understand is that you gotta have that dog in you too. In life, you gotta have that dog because it's gonna be other guys that's willing to cut your throat and throw you out to the wayside. It just is what it is. You gotta have that dog in you, and you gotta have that duality, the way you can have that good and bad side about yourself. Because if you don't, you will get ran over. All that we gotta be able to talk about this. It's not always gonna be that moment. You gotta be able to act also, but you gotta be smart. You gotta be strategic about it.
You and
Yeah, this is my wife. Yeah, this is my wife.
Oh wow!
No. Listen, you
Y'all
gotta,
are a beautiful couple.
you gotta,
I
you
did not
gotta,
notice that.
you gotta talk to me when she not here because you tainted.
Oh, the
That's
Carson.
disrespectful.
I didn't know.
No,
That's
no,
so disrespectful. Why you think
It's
everybody
not. It's
lying?
not.
He's
It's
not.
not.
It's
Why
not.
you
It's
think
not. He
everybody's
always
lying 'cause
talk,
they don't say
y'all.
what you want to
Always.
hear?
I don't
Everybody's
change,
not
I don't change
lying.
I don't change my
Nobody said that he was lying.
So
No,
why
I
would
know.
he change up just because she's not
I
here?
know. I know what he means. Like
Men
sometimes
talk differently.
Yeah, we talk
when
differently.
their girl is not around.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
we
Facts.
talk certain ways when we sit around
But he
men,
seems
but
like he'll have
Thank
the
you.
same
He just told you
character.
out of his
But-
own mouth.
Yes, that is
But
very
his
true.
character will still say the
But
same. He'll still be respectful.
Jazz, how do you know that? Stop talking for him. You can't do that. You can't talk for him, Jazz. You don't know. Something else might come out.
I will
You
speak
don't
to
have to speak for him. He already said
I
that
would
men
speak.
talk differently when they women ain't around.
I would speak to my homies differently and my male counterparts differently than I will if I'm around other women. But my character will never change.
Right. That's what
That's
I meant.
cool. Well, listen. We'll see.
Nigga about to be on tour. Hey, Ben Carson about to be on the I Choose You tour.
It's like
We'll see.
barbershop talk.
It's the reason why all of the guys is laughing because we know what's happening.
Yo.
And
So y'all
no,
give
Are
me
any
one.
are any of the
no,
are
no,
any
I
of the
think
other
that
guys
you're a good
besides you
guy.
married?
Uh-oh.
Are
I
any
think
of the
that
other
you're a
guys
good.
besides
No,
you
no,
on the
no. I
panel
really
married?
do
This
think that
mother
you're a good
married
guy. And honestly, I will vote for you
Yeah.
for Congress. I will vote for you for governor.
I'm
I
dead.
think that you are a great representation of what a man is supposed to be. I will never take that away from you.
Facts.
But I just,
He
I want
really
to,
is.
I want to kick
Yes.
it with you when
He
time
really
around.
is.
No, I would talk to you the same way. I just may take my jacket off, kick back a little bit more, but I'm still gonna be me.
I like
You
that.
know what I
I
mean?
like
I'm
I
still gonna
like
be
that.
myself.
Listen, I'm an advocate for family. I think that you guys are awesome. I love it. I absolutely think it's awesome, and I think that's dope. I'm gonna
Advocate for
use that.
family. You just say you was
And
gonna
I'll
finish
give you a
his
little
short
bit
of
of
I don't, I
context.
don't, I
I
don't
think
condone what Anton says about sleeping around. I'm looking for
He
why.
said he
And I'm,
advocates for
and I'm,
family, but just say he
and
gonna
I'm not
revenge.
going
Quentin,
to take part
Quentin
of.
just
Why?
Quentin just texted me and said I can't wait to go on
Make that
tour
one
in
make
June.
sense.
Bro.
Quentin
I
literally just
can't
texted me and said I can't wait to go on tour.
I can't steer away from
That is
He
hilarious.
literally just texted me. I'm looking at his text message right now.
That is so funny.
no, I can't steer away
2025 is gonna be
from the
fucking
things
wild. That's what it
that I
says.
believe in just because of the
Did
simple
you already
fact
make it
that
the
I know
route?
that
Huh?
Carson, would you go on
Did you
tour
already
with
make it the
them?
route for the I Choose
no.
You tour?
First
Why
stop,
wouldn't you go on
DC.
tour with them?
You see, he already know.
You said what?
DC on the 28th. The first stop is gonna be DC.
I asked him as I said. I
28th
asked
of this
Carson, would
month?
he go on tour with?
No,
you?
June.
That's
June,
next
June.
week.
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
You gonna be there, Q?
That's her birthday.
that's my birthday weekend. I'm not about to be with y'all, man.
Why you gonna be there? That's your
Please
birthday
don't.
weekend.
It's my birthday weekend, June
Yo.
You might have
25th.
to push the tour back if Q can't make that day.
Facts.
I don't need to be
Facts.
there. Y'all man got it.
We gonna push it back a week. No, let me
That's
see. We
why
might
the
have to
4th
move
is the
the-
next week.
we might have
4th
to
of
move that.
July.
We might have to move the date up or something like that.
Because y'all's anniversary is in July.
No, that's not true.
It's in June.
It's in June. That's
It's
correct.
in June.
Q, I'll pay you to come.
No, I'm not about to spend my birthday weekend with y'all.
How much I got to pay
Oh,
you to
hold
come?
on. We be fucking lit when we be together.
Why do I want to be a bunch with y'all men? No thanks.
Oh, snap.
You always
How
hang
much-
with us.
How much
Yeah,
you
but
cost,
not
Q?
on my
How much?
birthday weekend. I can hang with y'all on the regular weekends, but not my birthday weekend. I want to be on a beach somewhere, tanned out, not here in Clinton.
When we got to figure out when we gonna start the tour.
I got some
Why
vacation
DC?
time.
Why
I
y'all
ain't,
wanna go
I, ain't,
DC?
I, ain't, I ain't been out in a minute. I got some
I'm
vacation.
so glad. I was just about to put it in the Patreon too. I'm gonna wait now.
Jazz, do you ever go out with them?
Absolutely not.
We need to get Jazz. I need to come pick you up.
But honestly, I never.
We've hung out
Jazz.
with Cameron and her husband. We've hung out with
Yeah,
Cameron and her husband.
I've never been invited. And
Right, exactly. Just leave.
There's
leave
no
me out.
invite. Everybody
had
with
a
Patreon is
time.
invited.
No,
so
please,
much.
please,
We had a
leave me
time.
out.
Hold
Leave me
on, you
out.
have to be part of the Patreon. So whoever
Leave me
sees
out.
Anton Patreon, Cameron or her husband came. Last meetup, we had a great meetup.
I'm showing up next time.
So you got to be
This
part
one
of
is gonna
Yeah, Anton, I'm coming out there too.
be different though. This one is gonna be a lot different.
Oh, this is
Uh-oh.
after hours.
What
I
does
gotta
that
hop on
mean?
after hours to get the details.
Yeah, this one be.
I'm
be
gonna hop on tomorrow night for a little bit.
What's going to be different about it?
Yeah, boy, about to turn up
Well,
out
I
there.
need to catch
we
it.
got to talk about that offline because I don't feel like getting criticized by Jazz.
That's true.
Who am I?
Nothing on Jasmine.
Who am I? I'm nobody.
Wait, where's
I can't
the
criticize
next
you.
meetup?
They just said DC.
Oh, DC.
I thought you was going to the West Coast, Anton. I thought you were going to take it to
Gotta
Cali.
come to
Not
AZ,
in
bro.
June.
Gotta come to
Okay.
AZ, bro.
I don't know why you worry about me. Can't nobody
It's
criticize you,
hot
especially
DC
me.
in June. It's scorcher.
He said where?
Humid.
AV? Who said AV?
No, AZ, Arizona,
Nobody
Arizona.
want to go no Arizona.
Hey man,
100
listen,
weather.
it's hey, look, it get lit out here, man. Stop playing.
Not in June.
Oh, that's what
too
they
Well,
call
hot.
me in
all right,
Arizona.
that's a fact.
I just want to say that I know everybody on this panel. All of us can get 1% better.
I
That's
agree.
a fact.
See, we gotta make this guy a candidate for
Senator.
Oh
I'm
man.
gonna put my money behind him.
Y'all are in Texas too, right? Carson? I'm gonna say
Yeah,
Carson.
we're in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in
Dallas.
Texas.
I'm gonna put my
You're
money
in your
behind
favorite
him.
Yeah.
city, Antoine. Your
We
favorite
gonna have
Texas
him. We gonna have him making laws and shit.
Well, Anton
You'll
boy
be the
is
mayor
funny,
of
bro.
Dallas.
Yeah, we gonna have him
Anton
making
is
Y'all don't
laws.
want to live
hilarious.
wherever he.
We gonna set him aside. We gonna protect him, and then
at all costs.
You like
we
Anton
gonna-
like Dallas, that's why.
Yo.
Dallas is dope. I love Dallas.
I am curious though, behind the scenes though, how a person's thoughts are, man. Like I said, you're gonna be different, bro. You're gonna have to have an on and off switch for this thing. And I'm not trying to sit here and advocate for you to do a whole bunch of wild shit or do, the most, but at the same time, there's always gonna be an on and off switch to a person. And men want to indulge, and if women are choosing those men that want to indulge, it's on the woman at that point. It is what it is. You protect your family, you protect your loved ones, you protect the people around you, and that's all you can do. Everything else is going to do what it do. Society is going to progress how it's going to progress. Put your piece in with that, but at the same time, you can only maneuver accordingly, and you have to be the man that you have to be to survive and thrive. Y'all like the video, comment below. This is Anton Daniels. This is their after hours panel, man. Dope live as always. Like I said, I fuck with Anton Daniels 100% for the panel. Jazz, Courtney, everybody up there, bro. It was a definitely a good segment. Y'all dive in. Y'all subscribe to the channel. It's JayBReacts. Until next time, y'all. Peace.